Hello, everybody. It's me, Demetra K. Hope that you are having a great day. Thank you for joining me and Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner, again on the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. To my wonderful moderators, Mike, Brother Dom, my triple OG moderator, and all those who will come on here. Thank you so much for all that you do in holding down the comment section. Today, we're going to be, JJ, what's going on with you? Today, we're going to have a conversation about a Latino saying that immigrant street vendors are the culture of Los Angeles and should be left alone. So, of course, we're going to get into all of that. Give everybody else just a moment to come on. Brother Troy, what's going on with you? Anthony, how are you doing? Of course, we see AFRO, Diaspora Network. What's going on with you? So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I should say it's very hot here in Houston. Oh my God, I cannot wait for spring. I know it's hot in California. I mean, not spring, fall. I can't wait for fall. I just can't. So anyway, let's get into it. So anyway, I saw this video earlier today, and I thought it was very interesting. As you guys may or may not know, street vending in Los Angeles, California. Whew, it's a lot going on. Now, I should also say it's always been a thing, but I don't think it's been a thing like it is now. Of course, I'm going to show y'all two videos, a video point of contention, and then a video from Sister Brandy Kane, who is in Los Angeles, and she does a lot of documenting video-wise of a lot of the things that's going on in Los Angeles, particularly that of the vending situation with, we'll say, illegal immigrants, because that's just what it is, right? So I'm going to give you a few statistics about what's going on out there. So it says Los Angeles has roughly 50,000 street vendors, with about 10,000 selling food like tacos and bacon wrapped hot dogs. Estimates indicate that roughly 60% of sidewalk vendors are undocumented immigrants. Street vending was decriminalized under state law, but unpermitted food vending remains illegal under strict local health codes, leaving many vulnerable to enforcement. So to break it down even further, it says economic pillar, the informal street food economy generates over $500 million annually, feeding neighborhoods and shaping LA's cultural identity. Okay. Now that's from a source called LA Taco. Now it also says generations of Mexicans and Central American immigrants rely on sidewalk vending as an accessible entry point to self-sufficiency. Also, it says that because they work outdoors in fixed public spaces, undocumented vendors face severe risk during federal immigration sweeps and enforcement operations. Now, it says it's illegal. Decriminalization versus permits. California passed the Safe Sidewalk Vending Act to remove criminal misdemeanor penalties for unlicensed vending, but local health permits are still required. Navigating county health department fees and multiple office paperwork remains exceptionally difficult for many low-income, non-English speaking vendors. Local authorities have periodically paused unpermitted citations or enacted privacy protections to keep a municipal vendor database shielded from federal immigration enforcement. So to expound upon that before I show y'all the videos, Los Angeles County is working as we speak to make it easier for, I'm going to say what it is, right? They call them undocumented, but it's illegal immigrants to continue selling food on the streets. They are spending about $3 million in helping them get licenses, paying for fees, and providing them with street carts of different kinds, right? So they're going to be giving these to people. Now, I want to preface it by saying, they're saying that anybody can apply, but I looked into the language of the proposal, and it was put forth by, forgive me, her name escapes me, but she's on the city council. She is Latina, and it's very heavy on the immigrant community speak, if you will. Now, Brother Billion, we've talked about this even last week, says that he knows Black folks that have applied to get these food carts, but they've heard nothing back. So, of course, they'll allow everybody to apply for them, but they want to give them to illegal immigrants. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. So, again, if you've been to LA or you've seen videos, and I'm going to show y'all just a video in just a second, you have seen how egregious I would say that it has become. So I'm going to show y'all the video. First, you're going to hear from a brother, and then you're going to hear from a Latino who is basically, kind of arguing against what he is saying. So here we go.
take over all the streets, leave all your diarrhea food trash, leave all your snow around.
First off, calling hardworking people trying to make an honest living dirty or unsanitary while ignoring how systemic issues like city trash infrastructure actually work is crazy. Street food culture is literally what makes LA LA. These vendors are micro entrepreneurs doing 12-hour shifts in the heat to feed families, pay rent, and contribute to the local economy. Most street vendors follow safety guidelines or are fighting for fair permitting systems that cities make almost impossible to get. Nobody deserves toxic or racist DMs in their inbox, period. But calling entire communities and countries third world and telling people to leave is going to make people defensive. Disagreeing on city sanitation is one thing, but attacking people's livelihood and dignity is another. LA literally runs on street vendors, from the bacon wrapped hot dogs outside the games to the taco stands on every corner. Support small vendors, demand better city waste management, and respect the hustle.
Okay. So he's basically saying to the brother, hey, I guess he felt like, and maybe there's a longer video, I really couldn't find it, but maybe the brother was saying something, some things that will have him push back on him talking about the illegal immigrants. But he was basically saying that the street vendors are the culture of LA. And, they feed, as I was just reading, a lot of families, and they are the culture. It's LA. Now, I know LA to be a whole lot of things. Our vendors, street vendors, are part of it. Yes, they kind of always have been, but to the point that they are now, I would think one would say, yeah, it's getting out of hand or whatever. But see, the problem that I have with the Latinos guys' argument is that forget that they're not here legally. They're just hardworking. And they should be left alone. Now I looked, and street vending does aid in the garbage that is left behind, whether it's food waste, it's plastic, paper, whatever it is, right? Overflowing bins. So that is a problem. Now, is that the only reason why Los Angeles is disheveled? No, it's not, but it does aid to that. But I would think the brother's larger point is that they are here, and a lot of that is unsanitary. Now, I went to the comment section of that particular video, and I saw a lot of Latinos saying, no, that's not LA culture, right? Street vending is not LA culture. See, a lot of people say how they've gotten sick off of the food because, as Sister Brandy highlighted in one video that I talked about, they're not always able, to wash their hands and that kind of stuff. There was one particular video that Sister Brandy took, and one of the ladies was, I guess, shaping a tortilla, however you call it, with her bare hands. And then Brandy pointed out, well, how are you able to wash your hands? Where are you washing your hands on the street type of thing? So that is an issue. But I would tell you right now, Demetri K, I don't eat off of anywhere. Donovan will tell you, I don't care if we're in Japan, we in United States, I'm not eating off the street. Okay. I don't care who it is. You might be the best, whatever it is. I'm just not going to do it.
Wait, I don't want to cut you off, but for you guys that need to know, if there is a 7-Eleven and she is in Japan, you will find Demetra and her daughter in the 7-Eleven.
That's a different story, right? But I don't trust street vendors. That's just me, of all walks of life. But I'm going to show you a small snippet from Sister Brandy Kane highlighting just some of what's going on in Los Angeles with the street vending. Now, as you saw there, they are literally in the street. Okay, they are in the street, and they got a barbecue pit, 2 tables, right, or 3 tables, and some chairs, I guess, if you wanted to sit down and eat. They got a trash can, they got a tank, right, and some things there, and 2 tents, mind you. Now, I don't think that's illegal. But the other thing too is ain't nobody gonna check them, right? Nobody's gonna check them. And that's the other thing too. Let's imagine that those were black folks. Black folks couldn't do that. They'd be converged upon. Yes, one who cares no water. They'd be converged upon quickly, right? Arrested, getting citations, a whole host of other things. And I don't know. I guess I have to find out, are black folks able to do that? I've heard that they're not. Okay. So the fact that things are being excused, they just trying to make money, this, that, and the other. Now, I've also heard the criticism from people from all walks of life in Los Angeles, not just black folks, but people from all over, because oftentimes a lot of these street vendors are allowed to set up shop right in front of other people's establishments, right? So you got these other people who may have a restaurant, they're paying, the rent, the taxes, the fees, all these other things, like they're in compliance. But somewhere like Los Angeles is saying we don't have a problem with what they call the undocumented, right? Setting up shop, their tents, these carts and things like that. So on one hand, they're saying, oh, well, there's aids to the economy. I don't know if any of those people are paying taxes. I don't know, right? But then you're also saying a big FU to the brick and mortar places that are in compliance because people are trying to make a living. But the other thing is, well, what are the people who are going through the protocol the right way? What are they doing? Aren't they trying to make a living? I'd imagine it's a little bit harder, especially if you have somebody who's setting up a tent or whatever it is in front of you and just all throughout the neighborhood. And the other thing too is people don't want to have this conversation is it's very unsightly to do that. And it does bring, pests like rats, roaches, and just a whole host of other things into the community. And I've seen videos, right, of that happening, whether it's in Los Angeles or New York, wherever. But it's being excused, and we need to know why. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of that is, most of it is because of the politicians, especially somewhere like Los Angeles or California. That's why I say, Donovan, y'all got to get together if y'all want me to come back, because, they just allow those things. And of course, especially with the politicians in regards to the illegal immigrants, we've heard ridiculous things like they want to use taxpayers' funds to pay for legal representation. They want to, in some cases, give them the right to vote because they should have a say. So again, these are people who are here illegally. As I said, there's a lot of citizens who got felonies, whatever, throughout the country. They can't vote, but they want people who broke the law to have the ability to vote. So when I think of these things, I think about it being a political thing. And those people who champion that kind of stuff, they should be put out of office. You should not vote for that. Like I said, Donovan, I'm a California girl, born and raised, and I love to come back, but I can't with the foolishness at all. So, and it's not just in Los Angeles, California. It's a lot of places where we're going to have to start checking these politicians. What exactly are you championing? Now, originally, before I came on here, I wanted to do a story about the CBC and the NAACP and how they're now talking about the Nolan Wells thing. And as I thought about it, I said, oh, finally, I want to start talking about Black issues. But the only reason why they're talking about these things, in my opinion, is because
midterms and the votes.
Well, not that, but they see that Black folks are starting to leave. Black folks are starting to say, oh, really? Oh, so the NAACP and the CBC, they chasing after illegal immigration. Every time you turn around, they was at a detention center, talking about melt the ice and all this other stuff. And it's like, you are supposed to be right heavy on supposed to be a Black organization that champions the causes of Black folks. But up until very, very recently, they haven't been doing that. And so, like you said, Donovan, midterms are coming up and they're now starting to swing back to the Black voter and say, hey, okay, we're back. We're going to pay attention because, again, they're starting to see Black folks wake up and start to question, okay, NAACP, what is your job then? Okay, Congressional Black Caucus, what is your job? So we have to think about these things and the things that they champion because, okay, whatever, you're not championing for Black Americans, which you should be doing, but that you are championing for people who are not American in general, that should be a problem, right? We should say, well, if those people can't vote for you, whatever the case is, then you probably should be helping the people that can. So, Donovan, what say you? And then I'm going to get into the comment section.
Yeah. Again, you guys, thanks, guys, for tuning in with us. Another great thing. Please hit that like button, share, subscribe, put it in your groups, get this message out so we can get this conversation out there. Because, again, a lot of stuff's happening out there, and it's coming quick and fast and in a hurry. How many of you guys saw Hakeem Jeffries when asked on Face the Nation or whatever it is, Meet the Press, that, does he support the socialist democratic thing? He totally pivoted the other way because he knows he has to get back to the middle. Because, like I said, this is about power and votes. At the end of the day, once they get your vote, what do? They'll see you at the next election. Don't do nothing for you until then. So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe on there. So let me get this straight, Demetra. According to the guy in your video, he figures, and a lot of these immigrants figure, legal or illegal, they figure as long as you're a good citizen, as long as you're paying taxes in some form or fashion, and you're contributing to the economy, you should be able to live here without any documentation, any paperwork, any whatever. whenever you guys hear these immigrants say this bull crap, reverse it on them. Say, hey, how would you like it if I go to your country? I set up a shop where I only hire people that look like me, black Americans that are coming in to just chill and do what they got to do, passport bros, passport sisters, whatever. And we're taking these really good jobs from you guys, but hey, we got the best ground in your country, and we're just here to work and do all that. How would you feel about that? See, Demetra, the problem in America is most Americans do not travel. We do not travel outside of the United States. And when you travel outside of the United States, those of us that do, we know for a fact when you go to those people's countries, they are 10 toes down about their laws and what goes on there. You do not want to be in a Mexican jail. I challenge any left liberal to go to Mexico and walk across the border right there in Tijuana. Just walk across the border without any papers and see what happens to you. Because on that side of the border, they have armed military guards. Isn't that strange? Mexico has that, but we don't have that on our side. And see what happens to you. There is no habeas corpus. They get to you when they get to you. Because you're an American citizen, you will, will get representation and get you out. Unfortunately, if you're not Opie Cunningham, it won't be as fast. If you're black, yeah, you're last on the priority list there. So we already know that. But it just amazes me how they feel. You don't have to have, they don't believe in any borders unless you go to their country. Then there's borders. Send a bunch of passport bros down to a Latin country to date all the women and watch how quick they enforce their laws. It's just an amazing thing there. So in regards to California, which is where I'm at currently, Demetra's in Houston because we took her California LA driver's license from her and kicked her out. In some form or fashion, finally got her out of here. Yes, this is another reason why when you don't travel outside of the United States, see, in their culture, they have a hustle culture because there is no social safety net. So the law enforcement officials who get paid really little or nothing, that's why in Mexico, and that's the only one I'm going to reference right now, you have police officers that work for the cartels because they get paid more to work over there, even though they have a badge. But these people also are not quick to come down hard on their people that are breaking the law, that just want to eat. They just want to feed their families. They just want to do these things. This is why they have no respect for law. So here we are letting these people into our country. Now, what group of people are the only group of people that were forced to assimilate? Wow, it's people that look like me, FBAs. We were the only ones that were forced to assimilate. They stripped us of our land. They stripped us, and when I mean land, I mean our indigenous FBAs that have been here for 800 years, 900 years. They stripped us of our land, our religion, our identities, all of that. We're the only group that experienced something like that. And we expect these other people who are supposed to, if you're going to be a citizen, what you speak at home is what you speak at home, but you're supposed to know English. Again, how many of you guys saw that video of that lady who was here illegally, could open up a business, has homes, and she's demanding, can't speak a lick of English, been here since 1989, and she's demanding that a pathway to citizenship should be made for people like her and have been here for 7 years plus. This is the lunacy that goes on. But again, reverse it and put it into their country. They will have a excuse my language, they will have a fit if you disrespect their laws, if you disrespect their cultures. I was talking to a young lady this morning when I was walking my dog, and I'm going to land my plane here. And she was asking me about the bathroom at Adrian Mitchell Park, Demetra. Took me 14 years to get a bathroom in a park that is named after the first Black military resident who was killed in combat. 14 years to get the thing. This young lady who's in her late 20s did not understand how government worked, did not understand why shouldn't she, cape for Hispanics and the Somalis and the Haitians. These people are being oppressed and all this other stuff. I said, so you rather give your children and your grandchildren more competition for jobs that they should have above anything else. Anything in excess is great. But the fact is, you don't want your kids to have the job first. I never thought of it that way. And, talking to this young lady, ignorance is bliss in our community. She was making every excuse why she can't go to city council meetings. I said, you don't have to be there physically. You have a smartphone, don't you? You give your 3-year-old a tablet to watch where the kid is droned out. I said, you can tell me everything about Cardi B and all this other stuff, but you can't tell me a damn thing about the city that you live in and what is being built, and done in your city. Well, I don't have time. Nobody else has time either, but you have a smartphone, so you don't have to be there physically. Ignorance is bliss within our communities. And the ignorance is so bad that she thinks the Democrat is the only answer to Black people's problem. And then I gave her a simple question. Name me one thing the Democratic Party has done for you in your lifetime. She couldn't think of a damn thing.
Yeah, we definitely got to be educating ourselves. All right, so I'm gonna get into the comment section. And yes, Herschel, I remember the T-shirt thing. Black folks trying to sell T-shirts. I mean, Nipsey Hussle is a great example of that. How he and his brother Black Sam, right, would get harassed all the time trying to sell T-shirts and things like that, which is what led to him opening up the store, right, and in South Central Crenshaw there, the Marathon rather. That's what led to that. So yeah, Black folks cannot really sell anything out there without getting harassed. And you're right too, Herschel. It wasn't that bad in the 80s and things like that. Although, like I said, street vending has kind of always been a thing. Maybe it was more concentrated. Like I know in the fashion district for real, right? You see that a lot. But now it just seems like it's kind of, more so everywhere you look. And I just honestly think it's just wrong that it's being excused as, oh, they just come here to work hard. Now, of course, you also know that somewhere like Los Angeles, California, they're very anti-ICE in that they won't allow, even though it sounds like they're there anyway, but they fight against the Trump administration for, for the ICE raids and things like that. So they do a lot to protect the illegal immigrant community there, even to the tune of getting them Angelino cards that have money on there. Because when the ICE raids were up and running last year in June, they were afraid to go outside. And so they said, hey, we're going to make it easier for them so they can pay bills, get some food or whatever it is, because we don't want them to get snatched up. And then, of course, with people saying, oh, such and such has been here for a long time. Like, I'll give you an example. There's a story going on. It's a black young lady, I should say, and her father was snatched up by ICE, and she took to the internet. I saw it like 2 weeks ago, but she's raving, and I guess you would, right? Your father is snatched up. ICE got him. He is from Liberia, so they're Liberian. She's born here. So anyway, he's in ICE custody. It sounds like he had a stroke, and so all these other things are going on with him. So she's like ringing the alarm, like, hey, I need y'all to help me with my dad. My dad has been here for 35 years. He's doing this and he's doing that. So I went and looked it up because somebody had shared the story. And then, of course, when I looked, he had been here 40 years. He was told to leave 35 years ago. Now, I guess he was here on a temporary visa for like 6 months 40 years ago. So he was told to leave, and I'm just telling you the time span, 35 years ago, and he chose not to leave, okay? So I kind of got a little bit vexed, and I don't think that her father should be going through the things he's going through, right? Have a stroke. They should get him the attention he needs. I'm not cruel. I just want to be clear about that. But I was kind of vexed because I'm like, ma'am, you left off the part that your dad was told to leave 35 years ago, right? And that he just, shirked his responsibilities and thumbed his nose at the system. And now that he's being asked to leave and it's something unfortunate happened to him, people are mad, but it's like, man, he was asked to leave. So you're building your argument. Oh, my dad's hardworking and blah blah blah. But it's like he's hardworking, but he's here illegally. Like we can't gloss over that part. Again, I don't co-sign the austerity that ICE is going, doing with people like can we talk? Those electric gloves now that they're going to be using on detainees, that's effed up. I don't care what nobody says. That is really something that is like, okay, this is sick. Having electric gloves to shock people, come on, anyway. So I just think that needs to be a conversation. So let me get to some of these comments. And thank y'all for bearing with us. Hello to everybody. So let me start here. Diane, he says, what do you expect when idiots are running the corporation? Yep. Z Goddess, what's going on? Says, next president, America, immigrant until in America. Huh? What are you talking about? Next, okay. How you doing? Goddess, how you doing? Shield something Keith, how you doing? He says, cook, bro. One who cares says Democrats are the cause of black people's problem. Yes, and black folks as well. And Republicans too. Like there's a conglomerate, right? Chris, how you doing? Says ain't no laws in America except for black people. It's time to free ourselves completely. You ain't lying with that one. D-Max says I have to say we are not taking things seriously enough to know how to play the game. We got to do better with getting the information that will help us advance. That's what we doing here, right? All of us. K-Man, what's going on? Says, I love this. We need to direct our attention to places where we can make change. We do not utilize the tools citizens have to our full benefit, nor occupy enough positions of power to make change. I agree with you on that. And up until recently, we really haven't been having a conversation as to, like, no, for real, who are we electing, right? They're black. But are they black with black American interests as well, okay? We're not saying only. We're saying and two also, okay? Black Americans need to be included as well, but you want the black vote, and let's say you're black, but then we find out you're from somewhere else. Now, okay, that's great. But then we also see how you legislate and the things that you champion for, and they're not black American oriented, and sometimes they're anti-black American. So yeah, we have to really start paying attention. House of Nicole was going on, says, boy, if we moved in silence together in the world will go crazy, which is what we should be doing, right? Corey, how you doing? Say, I agree. Mad Dog says, I'm very pissed off at our black American politicians that are protecting illegal immigrants. Well, as I said, they're starting to see that it's actually backfiring because black Americans are starting to ask the questions like, okay, wait a doggone minute. At what point do you guys talk about your most loyal group of voters? I'm just saying black Americans in general, right? And Brother Albie Chill, thank you so much for becoming a member. And also put Jarago in the chat, black on social media. He said to Donovan's point, we also need an attention transfer, quote unquote, as attention is also a form of wealth. That's why you pay attention. Come on now, break it on down. Yes, indeed. AFRO Diaspora Network. It says the sad thing is we are paying for these illegal immigrants to be here. Yeah. Especially if you're voting for something like the Democratic Party, right? Keith, says here in South LA, these food vendors are messy, i.e. they literally leave grease from the meats they cook on the sidewalk. Yes, that is very true. Amber, how you doing? Says a hard-headed, hard worker. Exactly, right? You over here, you ain't supposed to be over here, but people saying, leave them alone. They're just here to work hard. It's like, well, what is everybody else doing? And then that's the narrative that they try to frame too. Oh, y'all don't want to do the work. Y'all lazy. Is like, okay, let's say we are lazy. We still supposed to be here. They not supposed to be here. Even if we are lazy, does that make an excuse for everybody else to come over here who has come over here illegally? I would venture to say no, right?
And again, I always reverse it. If I went to their country and I set up a chicken shack, they won't let you do it. They won't let me just set up. They will beat you in the head being disrespectful, and how dare you set up in their country and do whatever it is. You're a guest here. That's what I'm saying. That is what's so crazy about how these immigrants think. If they were back in their home country, they would not stand for it. But they come to America where you got a lot of these liberals and all these people that, let's just be honest, you guys. There is money to be made off of keeping people homeless. It's a whole scam, $1 billion skimming and money. Like I said, 27-30 billion dollars in California alone. Homeless issue that got worse. They can't find the money. So there's money in keeping homelessness going, illegal immigration going. We're paying for all of this stuff, right? You got to remember, this is your tax dollars that can't go to programs to help your children read, because to balance the city budget, they have to cut programs. So you're suffering while these illegals are making your children, me, you, and whatever, these programs that we had that was so great to be in America, because I could go learn to play guitar, I could go learn to dance, whatever, and, go to Zumba classes, for little or nothing. They're cutting those programs because we've got to support people that shouldn't be here. But if you go to their country, just reverse it, they will literally stab you for disrespecting them or doing something that you aren't supposed to be there. Be of a different ethnic group and set up a little street vending thing in their country and see what happens to you. The police would be on you like white on rice.
Yeah, and I've seen Secretary of HUD, Scott Turner. He's been spending some time in Los Angeles, and he's like, boy, the fraud that they are uncovering is crazy, right? So yeah, Scott Turner is out there. He's like, y'all not getting no more money for the homeless programs or any of the stuff, housing or anything until we get to the bottom of it, because there's literally, millions upon millions, maybe even into the billions, right? Of dollars in California that's unaccounted for. And, as a lot of people pointed out, y'all talking about, especially some point like Los Angeles, you're helping the homeless, but it doesn't appear that you're doing that. And all this money is not really accounted for. So yeah, Scott Turner is a brother too for the Trump administration. He's like, yeah, we own a Black Light. How you doing? Thank you for the donation. As much appreciated. So delineation was a must, huh? And can you expound upon that? I don't want to speculate as to what you're saying. Can you give me a little bit more detail in regards to your question? But once again, thank you so much. Let's see. Who else do we have on here? Roz, what's going on? He says, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm ready for California to be Republican state again. Yeah, I never thought I'd say that either per se. The choices that they have, Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton. Javier Becerra jumped in the race very late when the other guy, and his name escapes me, it'll come to me. He was put out per se because he, had some allegations. And then Javier Becerra, who worked for the Obama administration, right? And it was big time about deporting illegal immigrants. Let's keep it real, right? So he got into the race late, and he became, the Democratic nominee, from opposed to that of Steve Hilton, who's the Republican nominee. And so I agree with you. I think that California needs a Republican governor because the Democrats have just foobarred the place. It's just like, what are we doing, right? So I don't know how that'll work, but there needs to be some measures put in place. California cares about everybody but California residents. It's just, that's just my opinion from the things that I've seen. Californians are in trouble. If they get Javier Becerra, now I don't know, maybe he'll be a Trojan horse, because I know a lot of people had an issue with him, a lot of his people, because they're like, now we've seen kind of what the things you championed before. So are you just saying now you're pro-immigration or legal immigration now to get in office? Will you do a switcheroo? I don't know, but I agree. Yeah, I think it needs a Republican governor, at least for 4 years, to just say, hey, enough of the foolishness.
Well, again, with them rigging elections out here, in the nation's face, stole an election in the nation's face, and they were about to do it to Steve Hilton. They were about to shank him real quick, until it just they had to make it look good, so they let him get through. It's going to be interesting come November. It's going to be interesting, these politics.
It is. Mr. South Carolina, how you doing? Says, good evening, Miss K and people. 3rd, 4th generation of youth, whatever the case. My niece ordered food. They left it on the porch. She got mad with me when some stray cats I've been feeding ate her meal. That's funny. What did they eat, by the way?
Yeah. You guys want to hear something crazy? When I was in Vietnam, the rats are as big as cats, if not bigger. And they do a lot of food vending out there. So you can see what the problem is when you have too many food vendors out there in regards to garbage and all that other stuff. But Demetra, I was watching a report right there in Houston, and I was watching a report right there in Miami, Little Cuba, where they had these violations in regards to the restaurants and the street vendors, to where like hold my beer, roaches and not cleaning and cross contamination that's going on. So if that's happening in some of these community restaurants, and then okay, wait. And the funny thing was when the inspector came nobody spoke English. Nobody spoke English. And he's saying, well, this is a violation. You got, stuff coming out of the container here. Nobody spoke English. And this is the type of food that they want to serve to the public. And see, that's what I'm saying. In their country, that is acceptable because you get it however you can get it. Those of us that have traveled, we know, hey, if you're smart, always carry a lot of hot sauce, or if you got access to vinegar and you drink a little bit to kill any parasites in your stomach, if you're going to eat street vending food, because it'll help kill those parasites if you're going to do that overseas. If you travel enough, you learn these little tricks. But here in America, no respect for the rules of law, whatever. I mean, to them, it's no big deal. What's the big deal? A few roaches. What's the big deal? A few rat droppings. What's the big deal? This is why people that come to this country must assimilate. You're supposed to learn English. Even Obama said that. You get to the back of the line, you pay a fine, and you learn to speak English. That's what you do to become a citizen here. But they don't see it that way. And, oh, we just got to let them know you're in America. America's first.
Well, tell them how you really feel. Brother Samuel, thank you so much. He says, I'm so proud of the job you and Donovan are doing to wake us up. Says, I would not be surprised if the white conglomerate tried to give you a show to slow the effects you all are having on black people. Hey, you know what? That would be surprising. I don't think it'll ever happen, right? Because for one, I'd be like, well, I need to be able to tell the truth, right? I'm not going to get on there and get the tap dance.
Hold up. You could do that after I get my payment and your contract has been transferred. You could do all that afterwards. Don't mess up my bag.
I can't do it, right? But I appreciate that. And Brother Samuel, I learned a lot from you as well. So, this information that we are disseminating, we learn a lot from y'all too. So, like I said, this is our show. This is our show, mine, Donovan's. I call y'all my family. This show belongs to us, right? So, but I thank you for that. Let's see. And thank you, Mike, for, reminding people to hit the like button. Kathy, how you doing? It says, been here 40 years, but I have seen massive populations grow. He says, wow, see how the tables are turning. Justice is slow, but it is turned. Okay. And Sister Sherry says, the citizens of the country will not let us do it. It's okay. It ain't going to be an issue of whether they want us to do it or not. We're going to do it. Oh, got you, Black Light says, so meaning we have to delineate. Well, delineation is actually not a new conversation. I think it's something we're having now. Delineation, I think it's the conversation we're having more so now because we've kind of seen, especially with the conversation of Pan-Africanism, that it really was just kind of Black Americans like, hey, yeah, let's all, get together. And ideally, that's where we should be. And I'm not one of those people who are going to speak against the should be of it, right? It should be Pan-African, right? Because we all have the same oppressor. It should be Black and brown. It should be yellow and black, whatever it is. It should be. It's just not that. And so when it does become that, okay, that's a conversation we can have. But while it is not that, we should be delineating. But as I say, I talk about delineation from a standpoint of love of Black Americans. I don't talk about it from the standpoint because I hate everybody else. Because just like with the Asian boycott and all that other stuff, if we focus on it from a standpoint of a boycott, then it's not going to last. But if we focus on it from a standpoint of a wealth transfer, because we should be transferring that money back into our community, that's what's lasting. So I'm saying all that to say with the delineation, it really should be because we love our people, not because we hate everybody else. I don't hate everybody else. I call the people on the continent my brothers and sisters, right? From the Caribbean, or wherever, right? Wherever there's Black folks, those are our brothers and sisters. They may not know it yet. I know that, I'm not Black conversation, but fortunately and unfortunately, a lot of those people are finding out, well, you are Black, right? Unfortunately for our Haitian brothers and sisters that was under the TPS status that are now having to go home. Unfortunately, not all, but a lot of them are learning that, yeah, you Black, you Black like the rest of us, okay? You'll get the smoke from the same old oppressor as well. Again, I'm not wishing anything bad on nobody because I know what you wish on other people come back to you. So, and that's another whole nother conversation. But yes, delineation from a standpoint of love, never from a standpoint of hate. If you're doing it for hate, then it's already, deceased in the water. So yeah. Conscious roles, what's going on? Says street vendors need to go. They hurt real businesses, especially black businesses. Yes, and I think that's one of the most important conversations. Again, business owners, right, legitimate with brick and mortar, they pay a lot of money to be there. But then because I've seen one guy, he wasn't black, he was something, I don't know, in Los Angeles, but he's saying how in addition to dealing with the inflation because of the food prices going up, he says we also got to deal with these vendors, like literally set up camp in front of our business. Like what? So we're dealing with a lot already, but then you get these vendors who don't have to do what we're doing to comply, and they just get to sit there and nobody's going to ask them to leave. In fact, if you ask them to leave, and I've done 2 stories, right? Brother Kenny and Sister Brandy, they Black Americans who were harassed and had their lives threatened because they were highlighting like, yo, you can't just set up shop wherever you want. And then, of course, their community, right? I'm talking about the Latinos, dox them. My friend Kenny, he still get a whole bunch of calls every day about people talking about they going to take his life. Now, this happened months ago, okay? Sister Brandy had her life threatened. They talking about they going to green light her, all this stuff, because she's just highlighting like, this is really bad here. But they have that ideology of leave them alone. They're just here to work. So it's like you're going to take somebody's life because they're saying, hey, we don't like this, especially in the Black neighborhood. We don't like that y'all come up and set up shop in our neighborhood, but we couldn't go take anything to y'all neighborhood and be there for more than 5 minutes. But see, that's an us problem as well, because we are the group of people that are so welcoming to everybody else, right? We don't close the gate. We don't gatekeep. We invite everybody to the picnic, to the cookout. But if you wanted to go eat some of their nasty potato salad with the raisins, and they're going to tell you no. Right? And they're not going to be apologetic about it. But us, everybody come in. And as I said, they come in and then they run off with the mac and cheese recipe and they mass produce it, talking about, this is something that was in my family. It wasn't in your family till 5 minutes ago, until some silly Negro invited you to the to the cookout, and then you ran off on the plug with the recipe, and now you talk about it. So we see that all the time. So, but as far as allowing people to come in our community, the politicians, they got to deal with that, right? If y'all are okay with people coming in here, encroaching upon our community with illegal activity, I don't care who you are, then you got to go. You have to go. So yeah. Del Monte Green Beans, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Black Light says, when I was in Texas, the rabbits are the size of kangaroos. Yeah, there's some pretty big rabbits out here. Yeah, there's a lot of wildlife, deers, all kind of stuff, right? I was out earlier and a deer ran across. In fact, the other day, a deer ran into my daughter's car. Crazy, right? That's how it is out here. Patty Brown, what's going on with you? Hope you're doing well. Mr. Freightliner, how you doing? Says Latinos can sell BS with no license, yet Black kids get shut down for selling lemonade, water, and candy. You need to tell them again. The water boys, I don't even see water boys anymore. I know that was a thing kind of out, maybe in the South. I know it's all over. But the water boys always get the police called on them. Different people messing with them, like they're literally selling water bottle, and they get a hard time. Of course, we know infamously when the Karens, started to become a thing, there was some Black kids that were selling, I think, water or something. A white lady called the police and all this other stuff. But like you said, everybody else get to do whatever they want to do, and don't nobody put no pressure to their bumper at all. But Black folks got to, bend over and take it. Clip Trip, what's going on with you? Says filthy tacos. See, I listen, I don't care if it's filthy tacos, filthy fried chicken. Dimitri ain't eating off no street. I just ain't on. I believe you when you say it's very good. And you know what the crazy part is? The one time that I did, I was in Japan. And they, Deanna and Donovan was trying this street, was it sea urchin, whatever it was, right? And so I'm like, I don't want to try it. I don't want it. They was like, gotta try it. It's good. It's good. It's good. I had like a tiny, tiny piece. And no sooner than I ate it, my lips swell up. I'm like, what if I would have ate the whole thing, right? I probably would have died here in Tokyo. And I said, see, that was a sign from Allah. Like, you don't be eating street food. But literally, my lips was like, so yeah, I learned my lesson. Yes, Black Light, one hand wash the other. Chris, he says, how many people been eating rats I don't order from a fly by night. I hate surprises. Sprinting to a toilet. Yeah, you're gonna be doing that. I mean, yeah, food. People don't understand the care that you have to exercise with food, whether it's leaving it out, having a certain temperature, washing your hands. There's a situation, I'm gonna find it one day. It was a prison somewhere where most of the prison population got deathly ill. I think they had like salmonella, E. coli, something had ran rampant through the prison. And when they did the investigation, they found out that, and this is actually a couple cases. In one case, the cook had sneezed into the flour, got the people sick. And then one cook in another situation had under his fingernails, and when he was cooking the food, that's how some of these things spread. So it's amazing the things that you should know when you're handling food, but a lot of people don't, and a lot of y'all are very trusting with letting people feed you anything, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and what's really crazy is people don't understand the difference between land animals and sea animals, especially when it comes to seafood. You see so much cross-contamination with the seafood. So a good example, how many of you guys remember last year, Beyonce's mom, I'm not trying to disparage the lady, but when you're dealing with seafood, it only has so much time to be out on the countertop, and you can only cook it so, you don't cook no damn seafood 20 something hours, as Beyonce moms was saying. I don't know what she was talking about, but coming from somebody whose mom makes the best gumbo in the world, she'll be watching this show, if not now, later. Yeah, when it comes to gumbo, you can't let it just sit out there, whatever. You've got to take care to do that. And a lot of people aren't aware, of the time limits when it comes to seafood type food.
Yes, indeed. And was MPS Corporation, was that you? Somebody was asking about Donovan's Cash App. So Donovan has put it here. I'm gonna put it up here. His Cash App. Where'd you go? There you go. That's Donovan's Cash App. I want to send him something directly. There is his Cash App. Thank you so much.
I just want to say the money will go to help single mothers all abroad.
Yes, African Native, what's going on with you? Hope that you're doing well today. Brother Todd, what's going on? Says, moral of the story, sea urchins belong in the ocean, not on the lips. You ain't lying. Like I said, I don't even eat that type of food at all. But it's like, you got to try, Japan and exotic food. I don't do exotic food. I don't. I'm not one that likes to live on the wild side.
Guys, look, like I said, Demetria was content to stay in the 7-Eleven and eat okay, those of us that know in America, 7-Eleven, a lot of junk food, a lot of crap food in there, whatever. But in Japan, it isn't like that. There's a lot of health food in there, a lot of really good stuff. These two in the morning, they would get up out of their room, talk about, we're going to 7-Eleven. You want anything? I was like, what? They stayed in that 7-Eleven.
The 7-Eleven is not like the ones out here, okay? There's not, I don't even think they got like the hot dogs that they have out here in that 7-Eleven. They got fresh food, smoothies, all kind of stuff. It's like Disneyland. It really was like the Disneyland of convenience stores. It's so amazing. We never seen anything like it. And of course, we're up at 2 a.m. because conversely, right? It's broad daylight and in the States. So we were just up, okay? Just up, could not sleep. But the thing about Tokyo is it is safe to where you could walk through the alley and nobody's going to do anything to you. Okay. So that's why I was out there, and it was just literally like a 2-minute walk from where we were. Black Light says, I have seen a lot more black owned food trucks in Cleveland since we are not eating Chinese all like that anymore. Yeah. Go to your own people. And I would say to, black folks, and I'm just speaking because I am black, we tend to be a little bit more on the clean side, I still don't really trust a lot of food trucks either. I'm just like that. I'm just kind of a special individual when it comes to food. I'm a texture person. I'm a smell person. I don't want no alligator. I don't want nothing. Just give me the regular stuff, okay? I will eat the same thing, and I don't care, okay? I'm just not. So yeah. I'm not one to eat off the grid. I know people who have gone to France, right? And they're talking about, oh, you go to France, you got to eat the escargot. I said, some snails. You might as well just go outside in the yard and get some snails and just throw them in some grease. And I'm not finna do that. Okay, I don't care how they do it. They put some in their snails. Okay, you're not supposed to eat snails. At least me, anyway. So yeah.
Well, I went to SEER school in the military, and I will tell you, you will be surprised when facing starvation what you will eat. One of the first things my instructor told us in the class, and there wasn't in the introduction class, there wasn't any females there. So he said, if you can eat that, you could eat what we can teach you later on. And he was, if you think about it, makes sense.
Hey, everybody don't eat that.
But in general, because it's a mind thing, it's your mind. But you will be surprised when facing starvation what you will eat.
I guess I'd have to get to that point to where I'm starving, where I can actually be like, a snail looks real tasty right about now. It's a movie on Netflix called The Last House. Pretty interesting movie. Really, really interesting. It is. Yeah, I mean, I guess, if I came to that, I'd entertain it, but then I would probably like, no, I'm just going to wait to die. I am. Okay.
And some people are like that. Like I said, there's scenarios where a guy went into the jungle, true story, military, I forgot if it was World War II or whatever it was, had everything he needed, right? Deleted himself. Then there was a guy that went to, like he was in the desert somewhere with nothing, lived. So it all depends on your mindset and, what you can take, what you can't take.
I just be creative, but I'm not gonna do it. Incredible Eli says, yeah, that's true about 7-Elevens in Japan. Yeah, it's not your average 7-Elevens. I tell you that right now. It is a treat. I can't wait to go back. I love Tokyo, to be honest with you. I learned a lot of things in Tokyo, right? That
one of the first things Demetra said, why the portion is so damn small?
I'm gonna find that picture. I'm gonna try to find it. I was like, what the rest of the hamburger? Okay. And I was vegan. I went back vegan. So it was a vegan burger or whatever it was. I'm like, damn, it already ain't real meat. My Lord, I'm going to be hungry in 5 minutes. And I don't think I was, but I did learn. I'm like, damn, we in America, we greedy AF. Okay. Our portions are huge. And that's why we're fat. Okay. Because we just eat too much over there. Those people, the biggest people I would say that I saw when I was in Tokyo are the foreigners. The foreigners are the biggest people, right? The Japanese, they eat little portions, they eat soups and noodles and, the stuff like that, but they do a lot of walking, okay? They're very conscious. And the other thing too, as I said, what I learned is if you, some of these people that like to go on vacation and you like to be naked everywhere, you would have been naked one day. Because you would have went back and put some clothes on at the hotel, right? Or went and bought you some clothes. Because them people over there, they not scantily clad. They're real fashionable. That's what I learned too. They are really fashionable and they put on clothes, okay? You didn't see a whole bunch of they just don't dress like that over there. And so I was like, I don't dress like that either. But I'm just saying, just to see that, it was like, wow, people really do need to travel and experience other parts of the world. And I have learned too that Asians, I would say the Japanese, they didn't appear to be anyway, racist in Japan. Very nice, accommodating.
We'll help you. If you look lost, yep.
They're really nice. So it's a really different experience. Of course, you don't wear shoes in the house. I don't wear shoes in my house either. But yeah, you wear some shoes in the house if you want to over there. But they have actual, shoes that they wash and stuff. That you put on. So they have a shoe room where you leave your shoes outside of the house and you put the house shoes on and you walk through the house, but you don't walk through the shoes in your outside shoes.
Right. And one of the things that when you're there, it was really kind of strange. You don't see them in all cases. Like people think, you go to Japan, you'll see them with their samurai swords and stuff like that. No, you don't see anything like that. Like I said, Americans, we really got to stop watching all these damn movies and really start traveling outside of the Caribbean, kind of go where there's other people, other cultures. We did see when you're walking in Japan, you do see sometimes a few of them in their kimonos. I don't know if they were going to work, if they work at a theater or whatever, but we did see some of them in their traditional dress. So it does happen, but not like mass scale.
Yeah, we saw some people in traditional dress, as they're in Japan, right? It wouldn't be odd. But yeah, I had a great time. Japan, I would say Tokyo was one of my favorite places to visit. I was just a learning experience. It's just different. I would say that we went to the Disneyland there. We got on everything because it's not as big as the one that's in Anaheim. It's cheaper. It was just a pretty cool experience. And they're
Cheaper and a little bit more high tech. They had a little bit more high tech rides, not the old, 1960 Walt Disney World stuff. They had like the real high tech rides.
Oh yeah, so I would love to go back, but I think I'd like to go to Okinawa. That's where they have the blue zone. It's one of the few blue zones in the world, right?
And I went to high school out there, and I graduated. I lived out there for most of my formative years.
Yeah, so Okinawa, I want to go and look at the blue zone area. If you know anything about blue zones are where centurions live. They have the most centurions. So the centurions are people who make it to 100 or older. Another one is in Loma Linda, California, is a blue zone. There's only a few of them around the world, and it's due to their diet, lifestyle, mindset, and all of that aids in them living to be. So on average, the population, they reach 100 or more. So those things should be studied. So I'd love to go to Okinawa. Of course, I'm from the IE, right, where Loma Linda is. I know all about the community there. And yeah, they do live a very long life. See, that's the stuff I'm interested in. How do we stay here a little bit longer? Brother Damon, how you doing? I hope that you're doing well today.
Wait, you guys notice how she skips over the most important part? You guys notice that? Demetra, she don't be telling the whole story. She wants to go to Okinawa because that's where her baby daddy was stationed.
I want to go there to discover what happened to him. Yes, he was stationed in Okinawa as well. But yeah,
and if you're a Marines, depending on what side of the thing you're going to do a tour in Okinawa if you're in the Marine Corps long enough.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of toilet paper up over there. Boy, they got the bidets. Sister Sherry says, I follow Japan's grocery stores and 7-Elevens. Yes, they are something out of this world. I wish we had one here. It will give Buckles a run for his money. I think you're talking about Buc-ee's. I love Buc-ee's too. I love me some Buc-ee's. Yes, I do. Every time we pass by Buc-ee's, I don't care if I need anything or not. I just need to go in there, right? And I usually buy something, nothing major, but I love Buc-ee's. It's an interesting concept for a gas station, right? So even if I drive a distance or whatever, I like to visit some of the Buc-ee's along the way. Like when I drove to Florida, Alabama, they have a huge Buc-ee's. I'm like, whoa. It's like the Disneyland of grocery stores. Brother Sam, you say the food over here is just poisonous. It is, and full of harmful hormones. How would you rate the health food in Japan? And what all the food is health food, right? I know they have some junk that you can eat, but most of the food is already healthy because, to your point, they're not allowed to put poisons and chemicals and things like that in the food. Anytime I've traveled to other countries, the food is the one thing you notice the most is that it tastes different. It's more natural. You don't like, I'm one of those people, and my daughter tell you, and she's like, there's no way I could taste chemicals in food, and certain foods I won't eat, right? Like your Oreos. And I tell her, I said, I'm telling you, I could taste the chemicals because I remember when, let's say, junk food didn't have all that stuff, right? Like I could, in my mind, I could taste the difference between a Dorito from the 70s. Okay, I was born in the 70s. To where I would eat a Dorito now, it does not taste the same, okay? And that's because they've allowed chemicals to inculcate our food system. It's just regular, right? But when you go to other countries, you're like, man, this you taste the food. You don't taste the hint of chemicals and whatever it is. And so I just think in Japan, their food is already healthy because they don't allow the poison per se. In the food. I also saw an article. I didn't really read into it, but I saw the headline where In-N-Out, which I love In-N-Out, they are discontinuing putting chemicals in their food now too. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, one who cares, she hit it right on the nail. She says Oreos are flame retarded, not to try to set one on fire. Yeah, we'll try to set one on fire. And that's true. Yeah, they're flame.
But back in the day, Oreos didn't have all that stuff. Like before they allowed, the FDA saying, "Oh, okay, little red dye ain't gonna hurt you." They're discontinuing now. But I'm just telling you because I remember when food was like, like a pineapple crush, right? Where it was just sugar and, whatever it was in there. But now it's got the high fructose corn syrup or this, that, and the other. So I can tell, and my daughter thinks I'm crazy, but I can tell the difference between food that has chemicals and that don't. So a lot of foods I just won't eat because it's like, and y'all can see I'm not bony at all. But I don't like the taste of chemicals. So I just stay away from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but again, another thing is that, like I said, if we really woke up and traveled more, especially as Black people, and we see the world for what it is, not what they want us to see. Like I said, we're in the matrix here. Like I said, when I talk to people that have never traveled, and you can tell they've never traveled, not shaming them or anything like that, because like I said, traveling is expensive. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of us see the world through TV or internet or whatever we're seeing, right? But to actually go out there and experience it, it's like, Dimitri, when we went to Africa, the food there, the beer, it's so fresh and organic. I mean, they had a steak there I wanted to put in my pocket.
Y'all know I don't drink, but I can't wait. We be trying to find that flying fish. That's the name of the beer. Oh my God. It is so good. It's called Flying Fish. And I'm not a drinker, but I am one of those people. When I travel, they'll tell you we got to hit a brewery, right? Whether it's coffee, whether it's beer. I like the tours to see how the distilleries and all that. So we do those. But that's how we learned about the Flying Fish beer. We was toe up too when we left up out of there, okay? Because they give you beer. We was toe up.
And we were there all day, weren't we? Most of the day. We were there most of the day.
And then wait, after they take you through, this is South Africa, right? The South African Beer Company is what it's called. So after they take you through, they take you to the very beginning, right? When they was making the beer within the I don't want to call it caveman because it wasn't, but I'm just telling you for context, right?
Yeah, the native.
Yeah, back in the day, right? When they was like making their own fire and stuff. So they give you some of that. I wasn't a fan of that, but they liked it. And then you go throughout the time period, right? But you get to sample the beer all the way through, okay? Toe up. And then when you get to leave, they give you 2 free beers, right? So you can sit at the bar. So we sat at the bar. We met a couple people. And I tell you, we was effed up. When I say we, I mean me, because I don't drink, okay? I can have a half a drink, and I'm like, woo! I just never could drink like that. But I like going to beer tours for some reason.
Yes, we had some super duper fun. But again, when you go to these other countries, and I'm not shaming anything, but when I was in England, they don't season their food. Seasonless soup. That's a real thing over there, okay? They don't season their food. But in other countries that have a long culture, the food it's super fresh. Like, you guys have been to the Caribbean. Why is it that the fish there and the food there, it tastes totally different than what we get here? Because usually if you order fish in Jamaica or Dominican Republic or Panama, whatever, they have to go catch it first and they bring it to you, and it's fresh, or they get it fresh from the market. So it's fresh.
Indeed it is. Yeah, Mike. Ooh, ice cream. Yeah, I don't even buy ice cream from the store. I'll go get it where it's I can't think of the name of it. I always jack it up. But it's a little bit more on the expensive side. I get 1 scoop, right? And it's about $6 for a scoop. But it's real ice cream. But the ice cream they make now, if you ever see it, it stretches. It's like, what's in the ice cream that makes it stretch? And I'm an ice cream fanatic, but I don't eat ice cream as much because I'm greedy. So I don't buy it for the house. I'd like to get it when I'm out. I'll buy some ice cream. But the ice cream today, I'm like, for me, I don't want to use the word fear, but I'm a little bit afraid of the food here in the United States. When you really start to learn about it, it's like, what the hell are they doing to us? Right. And then see a lot of people who aren't educated on the food, you feed that to your babies. And then we wonder why these children have, onset this and onset childhood early. It's because of the food system. Stop feeding your babies that stuff. I think back, like I had 2 grandmothers but I'll tell you what, a lot of y'all ain't never, I know y'all have them over there. Y'all ain't heard of no socket to me cake before. My daddy's mom and my mama's mama too, right? But my daddy's mama, boy, she socket to me cake was always on the table, okay? Always. But when I say that, I can remember how real cakes tasted, right? But you taste some of the stuff nowadays. But so what I'm saying is people who feed their kids everything, bake a cake, make some homemade cookies. Now you don't have to go to the store and buy all this chemicals and stuff. Like a lot of people don't even know what it's like to have a good homemade cake sitting on the table. My mom's mom too, boy, I tell you what. Yeah, she could. Woo, she was a great baker, but I just go in the cookie jar and homemade cookies there. They didn't buy that stuff; they made it. So I'm an advocate for that. Getting back to stuff that we know what's going in our food. It's really scary, honestly. Like I said, I use Yucca, YUKA. YUKA. It's an app, and you can scan everything. It'll tell you what's in your food, and it'll break it all the way down to the chemical that's in there and what it actually do to your body, especially over time. And so when you start learning about that, you're like, yeah. And my grocery bill has gone down a lot, even though grocery has gone up, because we just don't buy a whole bunch of stuff no more, because you really can't.
Yeah, right? For those guys that have heard of Yucca, it doesn't just do food, it does products. So whatever you're putting on your skin and your hair, your shampoo, your lotions, whatever the deal is. And again, some people think, oh, that's so expensive. But if you really think about it, those of us that have animals, is it better to give your animals the cheap dog food where they're crapping all over the place every 5 minutes? Or is it cheaper to buy the expensive dog food that gives them all the nutrients that they need, and they only crap 1 or 2 times, in the day, like, a regular person is supposed to, a regular dog is supposed to, a mammal's supposed to. So sometimes you can't always go with the cheap stuff. So, especially for your health. I mean, how much is your health worth to you guys, ladies? They're finding right now, and, yeah, I know I'm a man and everything like that, but they're finding, ladies, they're putting the chemicals and the plastics and the extensions and all that other stuff that going on. I just went to a concert with older ladies my age and older. I never seen so many older women that were either bald or missing edges. And that is from years of putting this on their head, that on their head, or Demetria, you're a beautician, when the alopecia, when it's too tight, and they're pulling that. I've never seen so many older women that were basically bald. It was unbelievable. But I would say a lot of it too is some of the shampoo that they use and things that's going into their skin, the glue to keep the wigs on and all that other stuff. So again, we really got to get back to being healthy as a people.
Why are men bald? I'm just playing.
That Jerry curl, all of us in high school that had a Jerry curl, we're all bald. I think we should get a class action lawsuit. Who's with me? Who's with me?
Either class action or a wig, a toupee. Y'all remember when men used to wear toupees back in the day? Like I said, I was born in the 70s. So I remember dudes with toupees, old dudes. It's like, that don't match, right? Isn't Talia, how you doing? Well, we love you too. And thank you so much for the donation. It is much appreciated. Yeah, I just saying, I know we're about to get out of here. Corey says, I make homemade pancakes. You know what's so funny? I was telling my daughter the other day, I said, yesterday, I said, I ain't had a pancake in a long time. She says, well, that was random. I was like, yeah, I haven't had a pancake, right? So maybe I'll make some. I don't do a lot of bread lately, but I like bread and I like pancakes. I like all that stuff. I'm just really trying to be good because, I don't know how much longer I got left on the earth. I'm hoping another 55 years, but when you get older, you really start to pay attention to a lot of things. I went to the doctor other day. I did some blood work and stuff. It came back rather fast. I seem like I'm okay. Most of my blood work was good, and I never had cholesterol issues. None of that kind of stuff. Blood pressure was good. Everything. My doctor, it's so funny because he always says, you have a really low heartbeat. I said, yeah, it's been that way my whole life. He says, it has. I'm like, you ask me this all the time. But then I have to remind him that I have an athlete's heartbeat. So I said, well, what was my heart rate today? He says it's 53 beats per minute. I said, oh, okay. That's kind of high for me. Usually it's kind of the high 40s or whatever. He says, really? He says, do you run track? Did you used to run track? I said, yes, I used to run track and I run now on the treadmill and things like that. He says, oh, okay. He says, okay, that's why your heartbeat is low. It's resting. That's my resting heart rate is in the high 40s. Or whatever it is. But, just thinking about those things, I try to stay on top of my health. And it's not even about being skinny or nothing like that. It's really just about being healthy. To Donovan's point, there's no reason why we should be losing hair the way we're losing hair. I know some of it is genetics, but you know, you can stave some of that off. A lot of it is due to diet. Inflammation is what causes hair loss often, right? Inflammation, your follicles, your scalp. And so if you learn about how to combat those things, people ask me about my hair all the time. I don't really do much to my hair. I don't do a lot of manipulation to my hair. Like I'll decide, I wash my hair Friday or Saturday, and then I'll say, okay, how am I going to wear my hair for the week? So I'm gonna wear my hair like this for the week, right? I just twist these up at night, right? And I go. But the other thing too is, and I'm just telling people, especially women who may be suffering from alopecia, hair loss, is stop over manipulating your hair. Stop doing tight braids. Stop doing tight styles. Wash your hair once a week. I'm just telling you stuff I do. Wash your hair once a week. You got to make sure your scalp is clean. Don't put a lot of chemicals on your scalp. I know, especially we as women, we want the hair to do this, that, the other. We can't have a hair out of place and all that. For me, I'll never have my hair braided again. When I say I'm too old to have my hair braided, I like braids. I just don't have the I can't afford for my scalp to be inflamed, and braids do that, tight styles, and less stress. I cannot stress that enough. It's less stress, because stress causes your hair to fall out and, things like that. As I keep saying, I'm 55. I don't have a problem with telling people my age. I know a lot of women my age do. How dare you? I'm not going to tell you how old I am. It's like, listen, Gloda, we could tell you ain't no spring chicken, okay? But you don't want to tell us your age. That's your business, okay? But what I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with aging. I always joke with my daughter. I'm like, you think I need to get some plastic surgery? I asked her that today. I'll be joking, right? Don't you think I need to? Say, well, I look weird like that. But I'm laughing about it, because aging is something we're all going to do. We're all going to age, right? We all used to be young and tight. Skin is, I'm talking about your skin, okay? We all used to, but gravity is going to do its thing. But we can determine how we age. Like, I joke, I'm like, 5 years, I'm going to be 60. What does that look like? I got gray streaks, as y'all can see. I don't dye my hair. I'm not going to dye my hair. If it turns gray, it just turns gray. So what I'm saying is, I know I'm rambling. What I'm saying is, love yourself. Love yourself. Accept yourself. Because I know I'm just speaking to women, and man, y'all can hear this, especially as women. We're told, oh, the wall. Oh, you're not, you're out of your prime. Well, it's like, it's silly. What is prime? We're all going to age. You're not going to be, I'm talking about chronologically, we're not going to be young forever, but young is a state of mind, right? Young is how you live your life, okay? How do you go about life? Like they say, young at heart. That really means something. There's a lot of people who have grown older because they just don't want to evolve. I'm good, right? I can't stand the I'm good person. I just don't like hanging out with those type of people. But you don't have to grow old. Of course, we're going to grow older, but growing old, I'm never going to grow old. Even if I'm 90, I'm never going to grow old. Because when you grow old, that means that you've given up. I know a lot of people my age who won't work out. They just won't. I'm one of those workout people, right? Now I'm going to tell you, I'm not as skinny per se as I used to be, and that's okay. I still look good.
Oh no, it's not that. It's those drumstick legs you got. Them turkey legs you got. Them drumsticks.
I got that, honestly. My grandma had them, right? But what I'm saying is, I'm one of those people. I'm gonna get on your nerves. I'm gonna say, hey, did you work out? How about just go for a walk? Right? Have you been? No, well, but this, because I'm older, right? So my peer group, with his family, they're a little older. Oh, my back, my this. Oh, I'm gaining weight. I'm like, have you gone walking? Have you gone to the gym? Well,
and take your dog walking. Take the dog out of the damn basket and make the dog walk too. That helps the dog.
The only time some people walk is when they walk their dog, right? You walking your dog every day, but you don't put the dog where it needs to go, and then you go for a 2 mile walk. And listen, 2 miles is light for me. right? When I'm back home, California, that's my home, right? Boy, it wouldn't be nothing for me to do almost 10 miles in a day. I kid you not. Okay. I do
Demetra, you
40,000
could find
steps.
Demetra and her girlfriend up on Mount Rubidoux.
Right. Because I don't even know why. I just feel led to have this conversation with y'all. Growing old is really up to you. It really is, right? Growing old is up to you. I don't know. I'm just always gonna exercise. I don't always love it, but I have an exercise bike. I started doing that because I can't always get to the gym. I'll go walking with my daughter a couple times a week. I can walk 4 and 6 miles. My daughter's like, it's hot, right? So we won't do that. But if it's up to me, I'll exercise. And I go to the gym in the morning, but I can't stay like I want to because I have to come home and get ready to do my lives on African Diaspora News Channel, right? And y'all see, I sweat just talking. So I'm one of those people, I sweat. So it takes me a minute to, get my metabolism to say, okay, whoa. So what I'm saying is fall in love with those things. Fall in love with working out. Fall in love with drinking water. Fall in love with eating a vegetable. Fall in love with being mindful. I read the newspaper, right? That's just something I do. I read the newspaper because it reminds me of back in the day when we were unplugged from everything. Yeah, I love it. I read it, in bed, right? Somebody called me the other day. What are you doing? I'm reading the newspaper. You are? Yeah. Okay, I'm reading the news. I read the. So what I'm saying is we got to be mindful. You got to be intentional about you. You have to be intentional. Do you like working out? Not all the time. But do you do it because you need to be healthy? Yes. They used to say what, Donovan? If you don't move it, you lose it. And that is a fact. The older you get, look at that. That's the welcome to the gun show, okay? Donovan, I ain't got the guns like that. I don't live heavy because I just don't, but I do lift, okay? The point that I'm making is if you don't move it, you're going to lose it. It's like a car, right? You can have a brand new car and you never ever move it. It's going to rust and it is not going to work like it used to, okay? When we get older, we lose bone mass, or bone density rather, muscle mass. We lose all of that stuff. But you have to be intentional. Otherwise, you start walking around here. And my daughter should tell you, she thinks I'm an elitist to some degree. Because if I see somebody, I'm like, they younger than me. She be like, you tripping. And I'll be like, for real. I thought they was older, right? Now, I don't know what they got going on, but I trip off of that sometimes. Like, damn, they younger than me. Wow. What have they been through in life? And I'm not being mean. I just be tripping out.
But wasn't there a report that the younger generation is aging faster? They look older than,
Yeah, they're aging for a lot of reasons, right? And then a lot of them do. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's in the water or what. I don't know. I had to imagine it has something to do with social media. People a little bit more sedentary, right? They hours and hours and hours and hours. You scrolling. You're not moving. See, we're a little bit more active. Right, Donovan, our generation, we're outside, we're playing. Even when I'm in the house, if I'm on the phone with you, you know what I'm doing? I'm walking circles in my living room. I just like to stand up and talk. And by the time I get off the phone, depending on how long the conversation is, I done walk 2 and 3 miles in the damn living room.
You see, what Demetra's not telling you is, her mother, being an extremely beautiful woman, gave both her daughters good genes there. So if you look at Demetra, you see her mother. That's what you're looking at. Just pass it straight down. But what Demetra isn't telling you is her mom used to have that 30-foot extension cord. And when she was on the phone, she could walk through the whole house and probably part of the backyard and some of the front. So she's used to seeing like walking when you're talking. So
yeah, but I've always been very active, right? Herschel says, you know where to find a newspaper? I haven't seen one in years. Yeah. I get the Houston Chronicle. I canceled it because they was not delivering my paper right. I canceled it 2 months ago. I haven't paid for it, and they've been sending it to me every day. Right. I'd like to get the final call. I like a hard edition. I don't really like to read a lot of stuff on my phone. But I'd love to.
A lot of your publications Some of them still do delivery, but you have to like either request it. They want you to do online because they don't have to print it out and all that other crap.
You gonna deliver my newspaper. Okay. That every morning it's in my driveway. I'm gonna have to call them tomorrow, but like, hey, don't be putting that mess on my credit because I canceled it because y'all was tripping, right? But maybe I'll have a conversation with them and keep it. I don't know. I enjoy reading the newspaper, but I do want to get the final call. I just need to find me a plug per se. Because my daddy, he sold the final calls until, he couldn't sell them anymore. So yeah, I'd like to get a hard copy of the final call and be like my daddy, have a whole stack of he didn't throw none of them things away. So yeah, you can find newspapers. But it's very Italia says, look, Donovan, you didn't show him the God show, boy. Don't you do that no more here.
And the crazy thing is, I've always been skinny most of my life. And you got to kind of look at this. You know how you sisters all wanted the brothers that were already built, they're kind of, they're football players, whatever. Demetri will tell you, I was a rail and I'm still a rail. But as I'm older, that man weight that you're supposed to get, it hit me later in life. So now I look a little bit fuller than I did when I was younger. So I'm about 171 pounds right now. I used the average in my lifetime, 130? I was like 130, 135. Yeah.
Donovan's always been on the slender side. He still is, but like you said, but see, I love that you said that because even people who tend to be on the slender side, oh, I'm never going to gain any weight. And then one day it's like, where does stomach come from? I can't see my feet.
Yeah. The other day, not trying to brag because I go every day because I suffer from arthritis all throughout my joints and everything like that. So I have severe arthritis. But when I go to the gym, one of the things I like to do is crunches. I like to do sit-ups. And if you look at my abs right now, oh my gosh, I feel like it looks like a superhero. It's awesome.
Got a washboard, huh? Yeah, I like to do the crunch machine. The one that you sit down, you can put the weights on. Yeah, I like to do that. But yeah, but you, like I said, vanity, that'll come, right? But do it for health. We need our muscles. That's why you see people, especially our age, they be bent over because you just lose it. You don't work out. You don't lift weights.
Also, supplement your diet with some calcium pills, you guys. And it's not milk ain't for. I don't really drink a lot of milk, but I do use the calcium pills. The older you get, osteoporosis, whatever that crap is, your bones are going to get thinner. Your teeth, bones, all that stuff like that. Supplement that. Because let's face it, how many guys have aunts and uncles, they fall and they break their hip because their bones aren't as strong as they used to be. So if you're doing that and you're supplementing that in your thing, and that's one thing I'm afraid of, I don't want to break my hip or nothing like that. If it happens, it happens. But by working out and supplementing that, it'll help as I get older. I'm 56. So.
Yeah, weightlifting helps with that too. Strengthening your bones and your muscles, walking, and all of that. You got to stay active. Brother Sammy says, you make me feel better about my graying hair. Been thinking about natural diet. Wouldn't need much. Yeah, I think about it every once in a while, but I'm like, yeah, that's more chemicals. Gray hair, I guess I don't have a lot. I have some, right? Y'all can see my gray streak. It's here, I think. But it is what it is. It's just, it's natural. It's the aging process. I actually embrace aging because a lot of people won't get to this point. I don't ever want to live my life to where I'm afraid to age because that's what's wrong with us in society. Why you see a lot of men and women who look ridiculous, look like cat people, right? They walking around like this. Oh, how you doing? Because their face is all stretched back. They got their boobs all the way up under their chin and stuff. Look crazy. They do, Donovan. I ain't nothing sadder than a woman in her doggone 60s with a damn BBL. It's like glow to the. If you got the serendipity, that's all right.
You guys go to a concert, or old school concert, a Jeffrey Osborne concert, function, whatever, and just sit there and observe the people. Like I said, when I went to the Shantae Moore concert, I never seen such bad built, bodied people that are my age that look like they were way older than me, and I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it.
Because we call that letting it go. Don't let it go. I'm not even telling people you should be skinny because everybody's not going to be skinny. Age happens, whatever. I'm just saying be intentional about you. Yeah, African Native says combine exercising with healthy diet. Otherwise, there's no point. You can't. They say you can't outwork a bad diet, right? It's 80% diet and the rest is, working out or whatever. But you have to be intentional about you, because I hate to see when people my age that I've gone to school with or whatever passed away of it, a lot of times a lot of that stuff is avoidable. I'm just saying, don't give up on you. Don't give up. Keep fighting for you until you can't fight for you anymore. Because like I said, when you get this age, you do see people who just, for whatever reason, they're not as healthy as they could be because they've just given up. Like I said, I like to eat all the zuzus and the wham whams. I like eating all that stuff. I just don't do it. I like eating fried chicken. I don't eat it often. You can't eat that stuff every day and then think you're gonna have a good quality of life. So that's what I'm saying. Be intentional, for real. Because uh, they said a baby born today should live to be 120 years old. But if you think about it, we're going backwards. And y'all ain't got to tell y'all, a lot of this stuff is by design, that they put this crap in our food because they're trying to thin out the population. Y'all know that. So that we know that, we got to really look into the stuff that they feeding us. A lot of that stuff should be left on the shelf. Like y'all said, how is that you can burn up, quote unquote, an Oreo and it don't burn up? Or I seen people try to burn up cheese. It doesn't burn or any of that. That's not food. I don't know what it is. But so then we wonder why people are dying earlier. It's because you're spending all day, right? And if you read How to Eat to Live, I got them here. Let me see if I can get them. How to Eat to Live. It tells you don't need to eat every day, and especially all day, right? Essentially, you're supposed to be getting to every 3 days that you eat. But until you get there, try eating one meal a day, right? And there's certain things that you are supposed to eat. Now, I impress upon everybody to read it, because it has been said over and over again. A lot of the stuff that you're hearing now, these new age, this and all that came from this. This came from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live, right? Because he talked about how you actually wear out your stomach eating all day. We don't need to eat all day. As Walter always says, right? Breakfast is a scam, because they taught us. And then student minister Ishmael Muhammad actually talked about this yesterday during the webcast, is that we were tricked into believing we need to eat 3 times a day, right? You have to. Well, we know that's a scam from the industry, right? The food industry, because the more you eat 3 times a day, that means you got to go to the store and spend 3 times the money, opposed to saying, hey, I'm gonna eat once a day, one good healthy meal a day, right? And then you move on from there. I'm at 1 meal a day, right? It wasn't easy to get there, but I've gotten there, and I'm intentional about what I eat, because if you're gonna eat 1 meal a day, you typically don't want to spend it eating a bunch of junk food, right? Or that stuff that's going, just not good for you. So these are great books. You can order them on NOI.org. I believe you can even go to Amazon if you want to. But get the books. There's 2 of them, and it tells you, how to stay here longer. But you wear out your stomach eating all day long. You eat in the morning, right? Breakfast, and believe it or not, I have a hard time saying that word for whatever reason. Breakfast. So you eat that. Then what? By noon, it's lunchtime. Instead of you saying, "Am I hungry?" I couldn't eat breakfast and then lunch and then dinner. Okay. Now I tell y'all another thing. I was born in the Nation of Islam, so my father was very strict about what we ate as children, babies, and all of that. And often when we would visit my dad's side of the family, and my mom's mom wasn't Muslim, but that's how my mom and dad met. She would buy Muhammad Speaks. That's what it was back then, newspaper from my dad. And that's how he met my mom. One day she opened the door, rest is history, right? But when we would go to my grandparents' homes, or, our other side of the family or whatever, they would accuse my parents of starving us, right? They thought we were malnourished because we were very small. And then my dad was like, I don't feed my babies all day long. I don't feed my babies until their stomachs are sticking out. He says they're not starving. They eat good, healthy meals, but they don't eat all day. And they just were like, you guys are being cruel. You're being cruel to them. But my dad stood on business, right? No pork. One time he left us at our auntie's house, and we were young. We didn't know what we ate. She gave us some pork. So when he came to pick us up, he smelled it and he was furious. When I tell you, my daddy was furious. I remember him and his sister going back and forth. You fed my baby pork. You know I don't be feeding my babies pork, and I'm never gonna leave them here with you again. I remember that. I couldn't have been no more, I don't know, 7 or whatever. I'm like, Daddy, I didn't know what we were eating, you know. But he was like, right. So he was very strict about what we ate. We would go work with my daddy at his shop. And I know it now. I didn't know it then. We get there early in the morning and then late at night. And we're like, Daddy, we're hungry. Like during the day, right? Okay, wait, let me just fix this car. We're gonna go get something to eat in just a minute. That will go on all day. And then when he closed up the shop, I'm telling you, your stomach is just full of air, right? Because you haven't eaten anything. He's like, okay, we're gonna go eat now. Mind you, it's nighttime. And so then we would go get something to eat. Couldn't even hardly eat because you just couldn't eat. You had air in your stomach. But what I later learned, I was like, oh, okay, my daddy was doing Ramadan, and so are we. We were doing Ramadan and didn't even know it. But so yeah, you know,
conditioning you. There's wisdom. Like I said, the wisdom of our elders need to be respected because there's a what's that? Wisdom in the madness. You know what we think is madness.
Whose birthday is it? Courtney. Let me see. I saw somebody. Courtney. What? You go, girl. So I'm gonna be 59 next Monday, and I grow my own fruits and vegetables. And we could tell. Look at you, 59 where? Okay. Well, happy early birthday to you. Yes, indeed. If we're here Monday, I'm sure we will be, and you're on here. We'll remind us so we can sing happy birthday to you. But anyway, hey Candy, how you doing? Says I'm 68. I walk every day, gray hair, never had any chemicals in my head. I know that's right. He had Joan Rivers, right? She was. Oh, you know, y'all want to know what's so funny? My daughter would tell you. Okay, hold on, Deanna, come in for a second, because y'all gonna think I'm lying if I tell you the story. She like, can you tell them the Joan Rivers story?
You said she was gonna die.
Yeah, tell them.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We were watching Fashion Police or whatever. He was like, you walked past, I was like, she's gonna die. And we were like, that's really rude of you because this is our favorite show. And then she died like a month later. And that was really rude of you.
It was just the weirdest thing. I just looked at her, I said, she's gonna die. And she's like, what? And surely enough, I don't even think it was a month later she died. What I'm saying is, I guess I'm clairvoyant to a small degree. It's really weird. My daughter will tell you it's really weird. I didn't even realize that I had that ability. My mom had that ability, but really, I don't even know why. Oh, somebody mentioned Joan Rivers. I wanted to kind of connect the dots.
I could have told you why you're clairvoyant. I've been trying to get with your sister for almost 30-something years, and you told me never have, I never will.
Hey, I'm just telling you what it is, bro. Just telling you what it is. First class citizen, how you doing? So anyway, we're going to get out of here. Love and appreciate every last one of y'all. Come and see me tomorrow on the African Diaspora.
Before we go, let me tell you guys, we really appreciate you guys for supporting us and the channel. Some of you guys have been rocking with us for a few years. I don't want you guys leaving here thinking that, we're just one of these channels that just put stuff out and we don't try to acknowledge you guys. You guys are like family to us. And again, we know you guys could be doing 101 things, but the support that you give us, Dimitri and I talk about it all the time. We really appreciate it, because if it wasn't for you guys rocking with us and educating us and having these conversations, we wouldn't be doing this. We would be doing other things, not great things, but you know what I mean? We'd be just doing things, and we really enjoy having these conversations with you guys. So I want you guys to know you guys are super appreciated, because it gives us something to do, especially me in my retirement. It gives me something to do. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I must really love y'all, like for real, because when it becomes 5 o'clock, I'll be like, oh, I'm tired. Listen, about 3 o'clock, hey, Doug, about 3 o'clock, Beverly, I wish I could predict the lotto. You know what's so funny? My daughter asks me that all the time. I don't know if that's necessarily how it works. It just comes to me. I don't even be thinking about it like that, and stuff will just come to me, and lo and behold, it'll happen. And my daughter's like, how did you know that? It'll be like even seconds after I said it, and something just whatever. It's weird. It's not something I plan on doing. But yeah, like I said, I must really love y'all, because it come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I be like, ooh, do I need to talk today? I was like, yeah, I better show up, because I love y'all, honestly, you know. But like Donovan said, there's a million things that we could be doing, but what better than do this than to have this conversation with y'all? Like, honestly, I know we don't always agree, but we really love doing this. Donovan, it's been what, 10 years now? Give or take. We've been going on 10 years doing this. So yeah, it's amazing. I'll tell y'all that. But anyway, y'all can join me tomorrow on the African Diaspora News Channel, 11 a.m. Central Time. And again, I'll be here at 5 p.m. After that. So Tuesday is a day that I talk twice. So yeah, I'll be tapped out for real. But yes, indeed, Brooklyn Lady, what's going on? Love y'all. Peace.